You're watching Eye on Africa here on France 24. I'm Julia Kim. Our top stories on the continent this hour. Thousands of Malians take to the streets after the junta calls for protests against sanctions imposed by the West African regional bloc, ECOWAS. On the 11th anniversary of Ben Ali's ouster, hundreds of demonstrators in Tunisia defy a ban on public gatherings to protest against President Kais Saied's power grab. And we'll bring you the latest from the Africa Cup of Nations. Our reporters on the ground have all the day's action later on in the programme. But first, thousands of Malians demonstrated in Bamako against sanctions imposed on the country by the regional bloc ECOWAS. The protest was called for by the military junta after West African states imposed a trade embargo and shut borders. France, the United States and European Union are backing the punitive measures. They're a direct response to Colonel Assimi Goïta's decision to delay elections to 2026, despite a promise to hold them next month. While Malians are already beginning to feel the effects of the sanctions, take a listen.
We've come for the cause of the country. Let everyone come out. Let all Muslims come out to support the country.
Mali has called everyone today. All the children of Mali came out in response today, as our national anthem says.
Well, public anger is mounting in Mali, but also in neighbouring Ivory Coast. The coastal country is an important trade partner to its landlocked neighbour. It's also the #1 destination for the Malian diaspora. Our correspondents in Abidjan have this report.
Near Abidjan's port, sidewalks have turned into makeshift parking spaces for trucks. Since ECOWAS ordered the closure of their borders to Mali a few days ago, several trucks bound for the landlocked country have been halted. The number of container trucks stuck here is difficult to quantify. However, what is clear is the confusion and frustration felt by many Malian drivers.
En fait, on nous avait dit que les premières nécessités ne sont pas dedans. Mais ce qui est sûr, bon, moi, personnellement, j'ai chargé du riz. Mais ici, toujours arrêté avec mon riz. Moi, je ne sais pas ce qui ne va pas.
On charge des 300 camions, 200 camions, 100 camions souvent d'habitude. Mais dans ces 2 derniers temps-là, on ne charge rien, on ne gagne rien pour charger. Ça fait que là, ce que nous-mêmes on gagne, on n'arrive pas à gagner aussi.
We head to the Adjamé market, a commercial hub where a large community of Malian traders operate. Mamadou has owned this textiles shop for a decade. With the ongoing sanctions, he anticipates that he won't be able to sell out his merchandise.
Les plus grossistes même c'est au Mali. Ils viennent charger les gros camions. Maintenant là tout est garé. On a des commandes même qui s'étaient déjà passées au Mali qui sont bloquées maintenant. On ne peut pas les recevoir.
An estimated 3 million Malians currently live in Ivory Coast. The coastal nation is home to the biggest Malian diaspora in the world. A diaspora whose productivity is essential to Mali's economy, but also Ivory Coast's.
La diaspora malienne, le transit et constat, c'est 150 milliards par an. Et ça, si la Côte d'Ivoire manque ça, ils ont manqué beaucoup de choses. Et le Mali aussi a manqué autant de plus que la Côte d'Ivoire. Donc ça n'intéresse pas personne.
The High Council for Malians has also condemned what they view as punishing for the Malian people and has called on West African leaders to return to the negotiating table.
Well, turning now to Tunisia, where police fired tear gas and water cannons to disperse hundreds of protesters in central Tunis. Demonstrators defying a coronavirus ban on gatherings to speak out against President Kais Saied. They say his July power grab could foreshadow a return to the autocratic practices that were common under the late dictator Ben Ali. The protest comes as the country marks 11 years since he fled into exile. Wasim Cornet has this report.
Since Tuesday, all indoor and outdoor gatherings have been banned by Tunisia's government to stop the latest wave of COVID-19 infections. But that did not stop more than 1,000 people from answering a call put out by Islamist party Ennahda, a call to demonstrate on the anniversary of the ousting of former President Ben Ali.
اليوم 14 جانفي هو ذكرى للثورة التونسية ومنع التونسيين الأحرار ومنع تونسية الأحرار هو تراجع رهيب. هو ضرب لكل مكاسب الثورة التونسية حق التوانسة في التنظم وحق التوانسة في التظاهر.
Current President Kais Saied has seen mounting opposition after he made several controversial decisions in the last 6 months. Recently, he said Parliament, which he suspended last summer, would remain vacant until elections are held in December. and that has some worried the country may be headed back to some of its darkest hours.
Tous les partis politiques, pratiquement, toutes les organisations de la société civile, les intellectuels tunisiens, même les médias, ont commencé à se rendre compte qu'il s'agit d'un coup d'État terriblement dangereux.
The demonstration ended in violence, with police using water cannons and tear gas to push back against protesters. Dozens of people were also arrested.
The UN Human Rights Office has decried multiple reports of airstrikes in Ethiopia's Tigray region. It says at least 108 civilians have been killed since the beginning of this month. The deadliest attack was on a refugee camp. At least 59 people were killed that last Saturday. Well, Ethiopia's military spokesperson has not commented on the alleged strikes. The government has previously denied targeting civilians in its 14-month conflict with Tigrayan forces. Well, it's time now for the latest from the Africa Cup of Nations. And in Group B, Malawi came from behind to defeat Zimbabwe 2-1. 2 goals from Frank Mango, bolstering Malawi's hopes of reaching the tournament's last 16 for the first time. Also in Group B, it was a goalless draw between neighbours and longtime rivals Senegal and Guinea, but the result puts both teams one step closer to qualifying for the knockout stages. Well, earlier our correspondents joined fans on either side of the border to watch the match.
The atmosphere is festive as football fans watch the match broadcast at the foot of the Renaissance statue in Dakar. Senegal and Guinea are long-time sporting rivals, and fans know the stakes are high. After a rather dull first half, the Lions of Teranga finally go on the offensive. The fans are on the edge of their seat, the tension is palpable. But the Lions fail to deliver the long-awaited goal. In Guinea, supporters are going through the same roller coaster of emotions. It's been 22 years since Guinea's silly national has beaten the Senegalese Lions. The final whistle blows. Despite the draw, Guineans burst into applause.
C'est un match nul avec le Sénégal qui est notre bête noire depuis toujours. Et ça, c'est une joie que je ne saurais vous expliquer. Franchement, je suis très contente. C'est un match nul, mais pour moi, c'est une victoire.
In Senegal, fans can't hide their disappointment, but they're still hopeful the rest of the championship will go well.
Il faut passer par des difficultés pour avoir une bonne chose. C'est ça la vie. Cette année, c'est la bonne pour nous. Dieu voulant.
Match bi ni la mënoon demee parce que ñu ngi doon ñaan yàlla may ñu ndam mais xëy na ni la ko yàlla dogalee dañuy préparer suñu beneen match suñu dernier match ñu nekk Malawi.
Guinea and Senegal are currently tied for first place in their group.
Well, in Group C, Ghana's hopes for qualifying for the Africa Cup of Nations last 16 now hang in the balance after conceding a late 1-1 draw with Gabon. Earlier, Morocco also proved too strong for the Comoros Islands, defeating them 2-0 to progress to the knockout stage. Well, let's now cross live to Yaoundé, where France 24's Simon Harding is standing by for us. Simon, there's a lot of controversy at the end of that Gabon-Ghana match. The 1-1, the final score, but Ghanaians are furious. Tell us why.
Well, simply because Gabon scored from an opportunity where they, according to the etiquettes of the game, should have given the ball back to Ghana. Now, Ghana put the ball out of play because one of their players was lying down on the ground injured. Tradition dictates that when the ball is put back in play, the team which gets the ball gives it back. Now, that wasn't the case. Gabon played from the throw-in, and Jim Alavina scored an 88th minute equaliser to earn a draw for Gabon. There was a lot of scuffles at the end. Ghana's Tete was sent off for hitting an opponent. We were quite far away, so difficult to see exactly why, but that is believed why he was sent off, with Ghanaian players and match officials and members of staff confronting the referee. Now, it must be said that the referee could not disallow that goal. There is no rule in the book that stipulates that because a team doesn't give the ball back, then a goal must be ruled out. So anger towards the referees, what doesn't help in this situation, what is for sure is that Gabon celebrated wildly, because now with 4 points they're more or less guaranteed to reach the last 16, and they will face off against Morocco for top spot in Group C in a couple of days' time. For Ghana, it is going to be a very touchy last game against the Comoros Islands. They are going to have to win, and we're going to have to see much better football from the Black Stars, because even though there is controversy in the way that they lost the win after captain Andre Ayew scored a wonderful opener, there is still the feeling that Ghana aren't doing enough in terms of getting themselves opportunities to score, and so that game against Comoros Islands will be an opportunity for them to show their attacking talent.
Of course, and you said that earlier, Morocco were proving too strong for the Comoros Islands. They've beaten them 2-0 to progress to the knockout stages. Tell us more.
Yeah, 2-0 victory for the Atlas Lions, and a comprehensive victory for them, even though it must be said that they were made to work very hard by the African minnows, who are of course making their debut in this competition. Alama scored after 16 minutes to give Morocco a deserved lead, but after that Vahid Alilozic's team really struggled. They didn't up the tempo, they didn't find the right passes to create opportunities, and you could really see the frustration from the management staff on the sidelines. After half-time, that all changed quite dramatically, with Morocco creating a host of chances. But once again, like against Ghana, their finishing wasn't exactly up to scratch, even though it must be said that the goalkeeper for Comoros Islands, Salim bin Boain, was simply sensational. Man of the match, also saved a penalty from Sevilla's Ain Nassiri, and thanks to him, Morocco didn't score more. A last goal at the end of the match, giving them that 2-0 win, and now they will be keen to cement that first place in the group for a more favourable last 16 draw later in the competition.
Okay, Simon Harding, thanks for that. Simon there reporting to us from Yaoundé. And of course, we'll be giving you more updates on the Africa Cup of Nations here on Eye on Africa. Well, stay with us. There's more news up next.